Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is As Told by Kita, and I'm here to talk about young love and relationships. Now, a lot of people that get married young, they get a lot of stereotypes and they get a lot of bad talk, and people feel the need to kind of come at us a little differently because they feel like we're not as mature or we're not as prepared for life as we could be if we got married a little bit younger, in life. I got married at 22, and my now husband was 23, 24. And when we first started dating each other, I was definitely not in the headspace of marriage and children and things like that. Right before I got with him, I had just got out of a relationship. I was, of course, in high school, and I just wasn't sure about marriage and things like that. I didn't grow up with it. My mother wasn't married. My dad was, but he wasn't really around, so I didn't have a really good idea of what marriage was, and definitely didn't know how to be a wife. Of course, I was a '90s baby, so a lot of my friends had kids. I did everything in my power to avoid that. So I didn't know how to be a mother either. I was an awesome aunt, but it's totally different from being an aunt and being a mom. So I wasn't really looking for any of that. When I met my husband in the beginning of 2010, um, I just wanted us to be friends. I wasn't sure about anything like that. Wasn't looking at nothing serious from him. He had just broke up with his girlfriend, and Jesus, I was going through some complicatedness with my ex, so I just wasn't expecting anything of it. But somehow we ended up spending days and nights on the phone with each other, texting, and I don't know if you guys remember Yahoo messaging, and it would go on all night, all day while he was at work, while I was at school. Just an all day thing, just talking. And somewhere in the middle of us doing all that, I started to create these crazy feelings for him. It was just like something I didn't know before. I had dated, growing up, but nothing serious. You're kids. You don't really take any of that stuff serious. I want to tell you guys, maybe 6 months into it, he was with me one night, and he just came out of left field. We was watching Family Guy. He's like, "Hey, you should pick a wedding date." And I just looked at him like, "Yeah, okay, you're right. We're going to get married." And I ignored it and I paid it no attention. And then I want to tell you, like a month later, July, we're in Baltimore, Maryland. And anybody that's listening that's from Baltimore, there's a pier down in the harbor where you can sit down and just watch the boats come in and out. And there's one particular night after the first time he said I should pick a wedding date. We're downtown and we're sitting at the pier and we're just watching the boats go in and out. And it's wedding season. And I see a boat coming in, getting ready to dock, and it was a bride and a groom, and I could see the bride and the groom on the back of the boat, and it looked like they might have just been, hugging and being in love. And I subconsciously out loud says, "Oh, how sweet is that? How romantic." And he looks at me again and he goes, "You still haven't told me a wedding date. You still haven't picked a date." And in that moment, I was like, "Wait, are you serious? Like, you're serious? Oh, you were for real that last time?" And he looks at me. He's like, "Yeah, of course I was. I wouldn't play about something like that." And basically, that was my proposal. We got married in 2012, so about 2 years later, and I don't know. I had a lot of people telling me that I was just too young and I had so much more ahead of me. Why did I want to get married so young? And what was I thinking? And, just whatever bad stereotype comes with getting married at a young age, I encountered it from other people. And I don't know. I just feel like at that time, once he asked me, when I said, "Okay," because I didn't really say yes, it wasn't really a question. And I just kind of said, "Okay," it felt right. It felt like I should have been saying yes, or I should have been saying okay to him. And it just made sense to me to say yes and to pursue that situation. And I purposely created this gap from 2010 to 2012 uh, to kind of just fill things out. Now, in any relationship, we had our problems, we had our issues, and it was things that he did that I just wasn't okay with. And, you know, situations that came up and he handled them wrong or I handled them wrong, but we still managed to make it through. We still managed to forgive one another and, try harder and work harder because it was something that we wanted. And it wasn't ever about us trying to prove people wrong. It was about us trying to prove that we were right for one another, to each other. We just worked as hard as we could leading up to that wedding day to, just be better for when we got married. Now, the one thing that people ask me when they find out how young I was when I got married, because some people think that I got married recently or, whatever. And I say, no, I've been married for 5 years. What are you talking about? Older people, they'll go, Lord, how? Yeah, I'm 32, I'm 31. I'm still don't think I'm ready for marriage. Or, I got married around that age and we just didn't make it. We didn't last. So what is it that you guys did that, maybe I'm not doing? Help me. And I find it funny because it's like, you're older than me. I should be asking you for advice. But the one thing that I've realized that we did, or I might have done maybe a little bit more, was forgiveness. Being able to hit a rough patch and have your moment, like whatever it is, you scream, you cry, you yell, you have your moment, and just be able to be like, okay, so that's all out there. Now, how do we work through it? Like I hear people say we should get over it or, just let it go. But those things are not realistic. You have to work through the problem. You have to be able to actually sit down and have a conversation and go, why did you do? Or what did I not do? Or what can we do? You have to actually figure out what the problem is so that it can be fixed. Because trying to ignore it or trying to act like it never happened, it just creates more anger and resentment. I've done both of those things. Like, it took me 2 years to just come to the realization that, okay, those things, like those ways of dealing with it is not helping. I'm still mad, I'm still hurt, I'm still upset, and it's because I didn't really deal with it. I just went, oh, okay, well, we're going to go ahead and just move past it. It's fine. And it doesn't work. It doesn't help. Women tend to hold on to pain and emotions a lot different than men do. Men just want to kind of have the problem, maybe talk about it once and then just be done. Like, we talked about it and be done. But women, it's a clarification thing for us men. We need to have a full understanding and, unfortunately for you guys, full disclosure on what it is that caused the rift in the relationship. And I'm not saying that some men don't need that, but I know as a woman for fact, and I have sisters, and we need a lot more clarification and a lot more understanding, and I kind of want to say direction, so that those things that are bothering you guys, we can try to fix them or at least work on some type of compromise, because it's just better for us that way. Just being like, oh, just push it to the past or act like it didn't happen, or let's just move forward and I don't really want to disclose or talk about nothing because it's, oh, it happened, let's just get over it, get on with life. It just, some women just cannot operate like that. I know I'm one of those women. I need to talk, I need to understand, just whatever. So my biggest advice for anybody that's young, getting married, young, already married, or just older people who just try to get an understanding. I know for me and my marriage, my relationship, that it's a whole lot of talking. We have days out the week where I just go, honesty hour. We just, for an hour, we're just honest, and it's a safe place. Like, I can't get mad at him, he can't get mad at me. We try not to yell, we try not to scream, but it's just something that we do to try to keep the lines of communication as open as possible. I will just randomly say, hey, let's have an honesty hour, and he'll go, okay. And whatever I'm feeling on my heart or whatever I'm feeling in general, we'll be able to get it out right then and there. He'll respond, he'll be able to defend himself without me, cussing and screaming and yelling. And I just think that it's important to keep the lines of communication open, be able to forgive one another, and understand that you have to move and work through things, not get over them or push them aside. So, I don't know, guys. Hopefully, any of that helps somebody out there that may be getting ready to go through something. Definitely, when your parents get involved and your friends get involved, you want to hear them, but ultimately it's always going to be your decision. And it's always going to be about how you deal with things and how you work through things and how you and your partner um, get along after any type of situation may occur for you guys. Money, infidelity, whatever. It's all about how you guys deal with it. I always say put God first, pray. If you're not religious, then, just be able to communicate and deal with one another. There's always going to be good advice from our parents, and there's always going to probably sometimes I've found some good advice from some of my single friends, and it's usually about me being a little bit more calm. But at the end of the day, you cannot base your decision off of how other people feel. It's all about how you feel, and it's all about how your partner feels, and trust, and being able to trust that once this conversation is had, once these things are talked about, you guys will be able to see your way through it. So thanks for listening, guys. I appreciate it, and hopefully you guys will be with me. I want to tell you, Sunday I'm going to have a regular schedule put in place sometime. I'll let you guys know, but as of right now, it's just going to probably be random days. Thanks for listening. I appreciate it. Peace out.